Let's make lemonade. Okay. Let's go to work.
That's the signal! Go! 6! It's beautiful! Mother Nature just pissed her pants, dude!
Wake up and hit the ground running. It's The Rush, presented by Willis Auto, with Travis Justice and Ross Peterson bringing you raw, unfiltered, and unapologetic talk about sports, life, and everything else that matters. No filtered, no fluff, just The Rush.
Happy Friday, happy Halloween. Good to have you along on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. If you're listening on the audio stream this morning at therushradio.com, the Rush Radio Android app, or the TuneIn app, thank you so much for finding us and putting us in your car or on your device. If you're watching on YouTube this morning, thank you so much. Good to have you here. Hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and of course, leave your comments in the comments section, and follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram. Good morning, Ross Peterson. What's going on, buddy?
Dude, the chat's having their own show already. This is amazing. I got guys with hot takes on Nebraska, really good takes on Nebraska. I see Ray is headed up to Grand Forks to watch some hockey today, so this is like heaven day. It's like Christmas for Ray Q. Yesterday, his wife got stepsis. Today, Ray gets hockey.
You know, and I bet Ray wears the old Fighting Sioux jersey, right? It's no longer the Eagles or whatever they're called. I bet
you envision Ray wearing the sweater.
The sweater with the old Fighting Sioux jersey on. Can I start you in a good... I'm in a bad mood.
Thing. Oh, no.
I'm in a bad mood. We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
But I want to put you in a good mood. I want to put you in a good mood. You know, I woke up this morning about 2:30, 2:45, and, you know, I go to the death scroll, but I see I've got a little message on the Rush Radio Facebook page with a DM, and people DM'd us, and I thought I would read this to you this morning to put you in a good mood, and to put me in a good mood because I'm in a bad mood, and we'll get to my bad mood in a second.
Okay, all right. It always puts you in a good mood to talk about your bad mood.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
But it kind of leads into what we were talking about right before we went on the air, which we can go into. This is from Rod. Rod sent us a message last night on our Facebook page. He says, the fact that there could be civil discourse today on both sides of the issue without explosive verbal diarrhea and total word salad makes this show, platform, entertainment bliss worth the wake up and podcast follow. Why can't this country be more like The Rush and talk things out? You two are way more than providing morning entertainment.
Thank you so much, Rodney. Or was it Rod or Rod?
Just Rod. Just Rod.
Rod,
just
thanks
Rod.
a lot, man. I really, really appreciate that. Thanks to my friend Chad for calling in yesterday and having that civil discourse with us. That actually got started, Trav, because of another listener of ours had actually reached out to me, and he said, "Hey, is there any chance that we could meet?" His name was Jim, and he said, I want to chat with you about this school board thing because I don't agree with you, and I kind of don't like some of the tone that you've taken on your show. And I said, absolutely. And so we met yesterday at a bar in Beaverdale and sat down and had a beer, and he had ordered some nachos and some cheese balls, and we sat there and discussed for about an hour, maybe more, about some of his experiences with public schools, some of my thoughts on it, what my history with it was, and why I was feeling the way I was. And same exact thing. We had a really wonderful conversation, and he gave me some great insight about my delivery here. Because what happens a lot, Travis, it's real easy to blame it on social media. But so I'm going to use a social media parable here because I worry on the show that you don't really want to hear about this stuff. I don't think a lot of our listeners, but so I try to get through my points when I start to ramble. I try to get through my points very quickly, which turns into a social media type of thing, meaning I'm making very pointed statements. I'm cutting through a lot of weeds by saying something jagged. And sometimes I say things like, man, they've wasted a lot of money. But there's no nuance, there's no time in my mind. I don't have the time to go, what I mean by that is they've taken properties that they owned and they gave up on them, and then they sold them for pennies on the dollar, and now those properties are being used by other people. that they've expanded the administrative roles within DMPS, and they've got a bunch of people that are making a lot of money that aren't even in schools anymore, and we got a bunch of people in schools that seem to be doing redundant jobs, and so but I don't get a chance to talk about all of that stuff, and I very rarely, except for yesterday with Chad, do I actually get a chance to acknowledge the merit on the other side, because again, I'm in go through the weeds mode. There's no, I can't backtrack in that conversation because then I'm losing ground.
But that's, I mean, you got to remember though, and I don't have a problem with your delivery at all because one, we are in the business of entertainment, right? I mean, we are and from a debate standpoint, if you have a position you are going to take, you want to sell your take, that's the way. I mean, as much as I do believe we have civil conversation. We had a civil conversation with Chad yesterday, and through that conversation with Chad, who disagreed with you, as we talked it out, we probably agreed on 99.95% of what we were talking about.
When you have conversation with people and you find that common ground, that's exactly, you walk away from it saying exactly that. I walked away from my conversation with Jim last night saying exactly that. Like, man, we agree on about 95% of the issues. The one thing we disagree on is the vote. But yes, right now there's big problems. Don't know what a lot of the big solutions are to the big problems. And it was a really fun conversation. And I again, learned a lot and took a lot away from it, and am very thankful that Jim took the time to reach out. And he said, I wanted to call into the show, but I wanted to write down what I had to say because I just get a little bit, tied up in my words sometimes. And that's a lot of folks. And I would love the opportunity to sit down with people like that too and hear what they have to think, because I get volcano brain and everything just.
I think, and I'm patting ourselves on the back here. If people think we're full of shit, we let people tell us we're full of shit.
Amen.
And if we're wrong, I think we're really good at going, man, I messed that one up. I have no problem saying I was wrong. I got news for most people listening or watching this right now. I'm wrong probably 90% of the time. I'll celebrate those successes like there's no tomorrow. But you know what? I'm humble enough in the day and age to go, man, I messed that one up, right? But hell, that made my morning, and I was happy to see that. And if you thought Ross was full of shit when he said, hey, call me up, I'll go have a beer with you, there was a perfect example. Not too many people are going to go up with a stranger and say, hey, let's have a beer and talk about this. Ross does that. I won't do that, but Ross will.
Absolutely.
Ross will.
I'd love it. And we had a really fun conversation about the history of the school board and people that we knew that had been on the school board and what they had done and motives, and talked about some old friends that aren't with us anymore. It was a really fun conversation. In an hour in Beaverdale Bar, we sat there and chopped it up for a little bit, and I told him, man, don't hesitate to reach out to me again, because that's the stuff I need to kind of sharpen my sword every now and again. You got to have somebody that does that. You got to have a Chad that's willing to say, hey man, can we have this conversation? Can I tell you why I disagree with what you say? Chad and I have done that a lot. Chad and I are on opposite ends of the political fence, but we're right here. We can hold hands as we walk on both sides of the fence. We're that close to each other politically, and
it's like the Nate Bargatze. It's like the Nate Bargatze line. It's two dogs looking at each other through a fence.
Yeah, yeah, but we like each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, hey, I see you over there. I see you over there. But yeah, that was Rod. Thanks for reaching out and giving us that. That put me in a good mood this morning until I got downstairs in the studio. And Mick already hit on it in the chat, but I'm going to bring it up because I have a routine in the morning, and I don't like to mess my routine up. I'm very routine oriented. Ross knows this about me. I kind of follow the same script every single day. Not that the show is scripted. It's not, because Ross got a long script today. We probably won't hit 90% of it.
Got a lot of good stuff on there.
Got a lot of good stuff on there. But I woke up this morning after Rod's direct message. I went to my emails, and I had an email from YouTube TV saying, hey, as much as we've tried, starting this morning, you're going to get up and you're not going to have any of the Disney channels on your YouTube TV. So I'm very routine oriented. I get a lot of my news by watching the Sports Center and stuff like that. So all my ESPNs are gone. I am now stuck. I'm watching. If you come into my studio, I'm watching women's Australian rules football on FS2. I mean, that's what I'm relegated to. By the way, they're kind of hot. But it's I'm sitting there going, what is it about bulky women that are beating the crap out of each other on a football field that I find kind of erotic? But besides that, I don't have ESPN. I don't have ESPN2. I don't have ESPNU. I don't have the SEC network. I don't have my local channel ABC network. I don't have any of it anymore. I'm paying $89 a month, and YouTube TV says, hey, we're going to give you a $20 credit. So that's probably what the package is worth for ESPN. I mean, if you wonder how this works, YouTube TV pays Disney a certain amount per subscriber, and it's probably around that $20 mark, probably $17. YouTube TV makes $3 on it. And I'm okay with people making money. I mean, that's why you've set this stuff up. But I'm sitting there going, well, I have no reason to have YouTube TV right now. And I don't like to change softwares that have disappointed. I've never had a rendering problem. I've never had a clarity problem. I'm a YouTube Premium member. I'm a YouTube Music member. I'm a Gmail Workforce member. I give a lot of money to Google every year.
A very small part of this, but I think a part of this, Travis, is you were a very early adopter to YouTube.
I
TV.
was.
You were one of the guys very, very early on saying, hey, man, this is a great product. This is wonderful. And it's hard to back away from those things. We've all done that. Like, for kids my age, guys my age, because now we're not kids anymore, you're either a PlayStation or an Xbox guy. And you made that decision a long time ago, and then you stuck to that decision, and no matter what happened, you stayed with that because that was your choice. So I think that's a part of it also, man. You've been pretty loyal to YouTube TV. Dude, and I'll be honest, when you said, they told me I was losing my Disney channels. In my head, I'm like, are you watching Jake and the Neverland Pirates? Like, what are you...
I don't even have Disney Plus is not even part of the YouTube TV package. It's the Disney family,
I forgot
which is
that
every single ESPN.
And ABC and all those things.
Yes.
Until you said that. Holy cow. Now, Travis, I'm not trying to overstate this because there are other things that you watch. You're way more broad than just sports. But if they say your thing was $80 a month and they're going to give you a $20 rebate, way more than a fourth of your viewing is sports. That the Disney family of channels is probably, I'm going to guess, 60-70% of what you watch.
Maybe higher than that. So the only other thing I watch on YouTube TV, even though I have all these channels, going back to the cable days, you have all these freaking channels, but you really only watch this. I watch CBS Sunday Morning with my wife every Sunday morning. So, we sit down and watch CBS Sunday Morning. And I do that out of a courtesy more than I really want to watch. It's that bonding time. But they took them all off the rundown. And I'm like, I didn't realize how many Disney channels or ESPN channels there were until they weren't there. And you're like, oh, my options are gone. Whether that would have been, all that stuff. And I'm like, and then, ironic or not, this is how your phone reads. I think phones are reading emails now. So I get out of my email. I'm pissed off. I go to Facebook to try to cheer myself up. Bad place to cheer yourself up. First ad I see. Hulu Plus with Disney Plus for $29.99 for a year. Yep. And I'm like, How did they know right away? You just read my email. So you're going to give me Hulu. So what you're doing is, and this is where I go, okay, is it YouTube TV's fault for not cutting a deal with Disney, or did Disney purposely go, hey, we just launched this total ESPN package, and we now know that if we end our contract with YouTube TV, throw a $29.99 deal out there, even though we're going to jack it back up to probably $70, $80 a month next year. If we get all those people convert, you're going to have people like me who go, if you deliver on value, if you deliver on a product, I'm not going to switch again. I'm just not going to switch.
And Hulu has not done those giant rate increases that at least I haven't seen those. Senorita Puffer says if you get Disney Plus, you also get Hulu. So they're basically packaged together now. So Trav, let's go back to your phone. knowing. This is how good marketing, this is how precise they can be with marketing now. What I think that probably was more than anything was Disney probably bought an ad. We should have our buddy Jeff Klein on to talk to us about this from Choice Creative. I believe that they can know that you're a YouTube TV subscriber, and so they could send out a marketing package directed at YouTube TV subscribers that tells them, because they know you're upset. They know that 90% of the people are going to wake up today and go, wait, I can't watch National Geographic? That's a Disney Plus station. That's a Disney property. So your National Geographic, it's out. Your ESPN, it's out. The Ocho, you want to watch the Cornhole National Championships? It's out. And Jake and the Neverland Pirates, it's out.
I mean, what we're seeing is, we can call it streaming services. This is just normal TV now, right? I mean, we used to have the three channels. We used to have CBS, ABC, and NBC. And even though it's streaming, that's just now television. And we're running into the same problems that we ran into 10 years ago. Remember the first fight between cable companies and like WHO and KCCI? Like, well, if you want to rebroadcast our HD channel, we want compensated for that, because cable channels have multiple streams of revenue. TV channels only have one stream of revenue, and that's advertising. Well, if you're going to use our channel and make money off us, you're going to pay us for that. I mean, this is exactly what we're talking about. This is everybody got mad at the TV stations for saying, well, just give them the signal. It's free anyway. Well, then everybody countered with, well, go get an HD antenna, and you can still get it for free. You're not going to lose your WHO. You're not going to lose your KCCI. Nobody watches WOI, but we'll put that on there anyway. So we're right back to where we started. And the only person that loses is the consumer. But I think the consumer loses more even now, because I don't have the option for a free HD antenna to go get ESPN. I now have to go, okay, they're going to solve this sooner rather than later, or this is going to be a long play to where YouTube TV is going to say, we either have to take the deal and up the rates on people and go to $100, $110 a month or whatever that is, and then Hulu and Disney are going to say, hey, $29.99, $29.99, make the switch.
Dude, I might have to call. I think I pay more than $29.99 for my Hulu.
So you probably do. This is for new people.
Cancel and re-sign up? Yeah, that pisses me off. That makes me mad. When I'm an existing customer, and then you find out, oh, wait, if I just would have not paid you for a long time, I could pay you a lot less? Bastards.
And it should piss you off. Just give me the deal.
Yeah.
Just give me the deal.
Send me an email that says, hey, you're not going to believe this. We're going to charge you $40 less this next month.
Yay. But I mean, I'm glad the World Series is not on the Disney family of channels. I'm glad that Iowa State is on TNT tomorrow. But moving forward, if this isn't solved in a week, I'm probably going to make the switch. And I don't want to make the switch, but you're leaving me no choice but to make the switch.
Listen, this is an important part of the Hulu conversation. Flagger, thanks for saying this, Chris. Hulu Live, which is really what you have to get.
Okay. So
Hulu Live
okay, explain the difference between Hulu and Hulu Live. So Hulu Live was essentially YouTube TV.
Yeah, you're going to be able to watch live TV. Hulu, basic Hulu is going to be almost like a Netflix subscription. You're going to get recorded shows. You're going to be able to watch a ton of TV shows, none of them when they're actually happening. Hulu Live gives you the opportunity to watch live television. So like sporting events, you got to have Hulu Live.
Okay, so I'm going to need to get the Hulu Live.
You guys want to sit up Sunday morning and watch that at a specific time when it's actually airing? You're going to need Hulu Live.
So how much is Hulu Live per month? I mean, if somebody's out there that is a Hulu Live subscriber, let me know. Well, that's basically YouTube TV.
What you're doing, exactly right.
But now I'm really in a conundrum because Owen's been all over me to get new internet here. And for the most part, the internet, ever since we got the wires fixed, we've had pretty good internet, knock on wood. I now have fiber in my neighborhood. And I was offered a package the other day that comes with, I can get 1 gig, 2 gig, or 5 gig of speed. and you can purchase it where the fiber company has its own television package. And I'm like, well, am I better off just doing that? Get rid of the YouTube TV, bring in fiber to the house, and then get their TV package, which I don't have to deal with this bullshit all the time. Right? I mean, and I'm not under contract. I don't know. It's just frustrating because the consumer loses in this
all the time, and then
all the
even
time.
Travis. So like I've kind of become an adopt because dude, I've noticed I don't use Netflix nearly as much as I used to.
Amen, brother.
And
I mean,
like, man, maybe it's time to cut that subscription off because I just don't use that.
Here's the problem. Like there are certain series on Netflix that we like The Diplomat right now. If you've watched The Diplomat, it's a very good series.
I haven't.
But it comes by and you're like, oh, now I got to wait. Now I'm done with the season, but I got to wait another probably 2 years for the next one to come out. But I hate resubscribing and doing all that stuff. But I'm with you. My Netflix consumption has gone down tremendously. My Peacock consumption has gone up quite a bit. And I don't know why. I've just found some shows on Peacock besides the sports.
Yeah.
And I have Paramount because those are fairly reasonable. I think I pay $9.99 a month for Peacock. I paid $9.99 a month for Paramount, and I'm okay with that, right? It's like
I've been using one that's a free one lately. Tubi.
I've heard Tubi's really good.
Tubi's got an amazing selection of movies. Like it's more like a Netflix. It doesn't. It has some TV shows on it. But it would be like that Hulu, the normal Hulu. You can't watch live TV. I don't think you can watch live TV on it. But it's free, and it's got an unbelievable selection of movies and documentaries and stuff like that. So I've actually found myself watching Tubi a little bit more. And every time I do that, I go, why am I paying Netflix? I mean, and my dad still has DirecTV.
No.
I swear to God.
I have an honest God question, and maybe you can answer this, maybe people in the chat. When it comes to DirecTV now, do you still need the dish, or do they have like a streaming app to where you're streaming DirecTV? I blew your mind away.
I think that's a good question. I think he still has a dish.
So he's like old school.
I think so. I don't know for sure. I'm pretty sure he's got a dish in the house. But
That
now
is
that I'm
old school.
saying that, he's got the TV in the garage, and it doesn't have. I don't know, dude. That's a really good question. It's a really good question.
Brad says DirecTV stream app.
There you go. So maybe that's what he uses in the garage, or maybe in the house too. Now I don't know. For Dad, it's a familiarity thing. You know what I mean?
And I like that.
We're human beings, dude.
Yes.
Human beings. We hate change. We're resistant to those new things that are a little bit different. They have this. They've mastered it, dude. Think of what this conversation that we're having. They have mastered this idea of pushing us to the verge of doing something. They make it just uncomfortable enough that you'll sustain it. They know the exact dollar amount. They know the exact amount of time to keep that ESPN away from you while they negotiate. And then all of a sudden it'll be like, hey, great news. YouTube TV and ESPN and Disney have come to an agreement. And the good news for you is it's only going to cost you an extra 50 cents a month. How about that? And you'll go, you know what? For 50 cents a month, that's okay. They've mastered it. All of these services. I mean, every conversation we've had here is like, man, I'm close to cutting off my ties with that one. Why don't you? Because it's just a hassle.
Because it's work. It's work.
Because someday I'm going to have to resubscribe.
And you know what else it is? It's kind of, and we're going to talk about it on Monday, but I'm helping a fellow out with some of our social media channels. And I'm trying to make the person a manager. Well, you've been subscribed to these things so long, I don't know where to go unsubscribe from YouTube TV at, right? It's like, okay, I'm going to unsubscribe. Where do I do it at? Yeah. Then you got to Google and go, okay, how do I unsubscribe? I mean, you spend more time and effort trying to figure out how to do it than actually
Trav,
doing it.
I get this email service as a realtor, right? And I've realized over the last couple of weeks it's kind of useless. And so the email comes the other day, and I'm like, man, I wonder if there's a way to scroll to the bottom, unsubscribe button. Oh, Easy. Click here to unsubscribe. Click. Takes me to another screen. Oh, you'd like to unsubscribe? Just put in this information for us. Type in your information. Go to the bottom. Next. Oh, okay, you're serious? You want to unsubscribe? Now, if you could just fill out this series of information for us, right? And about the third click that I make, I finally go, screw it. I'll just stay subscribed and ignore the emails. It's not charging me anything. It's just kind of an annoyance, but they made unsubscribing more of an annoyance than just ignoring the emails.
Are you sure you want to subscribe? Yes. Are you really sure you want to? But are you really sure?
If you could just type in a little bit more information for us and let us know how to contact you in the future and let us know what. And literally about the third screen, I'm like, screw it. Close the window. I'll take the emails and ignore them.
I had a similar one the other day where I hit unsubscribe, and it took me to a page, but it wasn't as detailed as yours, but it was, which list do you want to unsubscribe from? And I didn't realize I was getting emails from like 5 different lists that once you signed up for one, you were automatically subscribed for 5. So if I'd only picked the one, well, I'd keep getting the other one, And so I'm like, all of them. Okay. Are you really sure? Yes, I'm sure.
You clicked this option. Are you sure you want to unsubscribe from that option? Nobody unsubscribes from that option.
Irish Hawkeye says they should just play the audio from Travis saying, are you really sure?
Yeah. I would close it out too, he says. Screw it. I don't want to hear that guy's voice anymore. I'll stay subscribed. Dude, they got it down to a science, don't they?
They own us.
That's a clarinet, right?
Saxophone?
Somebody with more musical acumen than us is going to need. We're going to need them for that. You think that's like an alto sax?
Could be.
I keep hearing. Charlie says that's a saxophone.
Okay. Don't forget to pump it up with Unleaded 88. It's grown by Iowa corn farmers right here in the state of Iowa. So pump it up with Unleaded 88. Go to iowacorn.org to learn more. Coming up at around 7:15, it's the Iowa Lottery Weekly Woo-Hoo. Your chance to win a $90 prize pack from the Iowa Lottery. So make sure to start thinking about your woo-hoo and get ready to call in. We've had some really good weeks with the Iowa Lottery.
Do you see how smart our callers are, our listeners are? They're all like, that's a tenor sax.
Tenor sax.
Jay, Charlie, thank you guys so much. Right away, they're both like saxophone, tenor sax.
They must be saxophone players.
I wish I could play an instrument, dude. I wish I could speak other languages. I wish I could play an instrument. I wish I was taller. I wish I was a baller.
Shit in one hand, wish in the other, and see what. It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
The Rush Radio is now on the free TuneIn app, allowing you to enjoy the show on Apple products and Android Auto. Download the free TuneIn app and search The Rush Radio to take Travis and Ross wherever you go.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vents, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
There's more Iowa in the Iowa Tap Room than you may realize. Housed in a building nearly as old as Iowa itself, the Iowa Tap Room greets you with a harvest of 120 Iowa craft beers on tap from all corners of the state. And the food doesn't get much more Iowa than this. The Iowa Tap Room, all Iowa beer, one amazing place.
There's always something new at Fong's Pizza. The patio is open and ready for you, your friends, and an ever-changing menu of tiki drinks. Or try our new noodle dishes alongside your favorite slice. It's all happening this summer at the new Fong's in the East Village.
Thinking about buying a home? Get pre-approved in 30 minutes with Gary Presnell at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA, FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know. High-quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah. Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Cheaper, cleaner, and homegrown. Pump it up with Unleaded 88.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
Why'd the car thief get caught?
Why?
He took too many breaks. Why couldn't the mechanic work on his motorcycle? Because he was too tired. What do you get when you bring your car in for service at Land Rover Des Moines?
What?
$100 off tires. Right now, through the month of October and November, we're offering $100 off select tires. No tricks here, just great deals.
You got me falling hard, sweet baby, you got me falling hard for you. And still, I felt this way before, you know it's true. And still, you got me more and more. Oh, you got me falling hard.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Did you see the photo that Ray Q sent us this morning? Actually, he sent it to us a couple days ago, I guess. He sent us a photo of 3 of his hockey jerseys laid out.
I did see that. I didn't reply to it, so I apologize about that, Ray, but I did see it. One was a Fighting Sioux
He had the
old
Fighting
sweater.
Sioux. He had the Des Moines Buccaneers, and the third one was the Charlestown Chiefs. And I wrote back to him, I'm like, I don't know which one of those is my favorite. Like all 3 of those. If I were hanging out with Ray and he was like, hey, let's go to a hockey game, go ahead and pick a sweater out of the closet, I'd stand there for an hour. Maybe I love the Des Moines Buccaneers one.
I do too, but here's the deal. I would wear the Charlestown Chiefs everywhere I went. And here's why. Because you could walk the halls and you're going to hear one-liners from the movie from just random hockey fans, right? Yeah, I mean, people will drop a line from the movie, and that might start up a conversation just about the movie. You wear a Bucks jersey to a Bucks game, you're just you're just blending in. Same with wearing a Fighting Sioux jersey to a North Dakota game, or most people you'd wear that to a hockey game. They're like Blackhawks. No, it's the Fighting Sioux. I'd wear the Charlestown Chiefs jersey. That would be the one I wore, or sweater.
Yeah, you're right. First of all, 2 things we got to talk about. Number one, we did learn a couple weeks ago, not nearly as many people know Slapshot as we thought or hoped.
Which is disappointing.
A little bit disappointing. But again, no judging on that. Here's the other thing about the Des Moines Buccaneers jersey that I'd be interested to hear from Ray on. So did I tell you about the conversation Charter and I had in Vegas about the general knowledge of the human population, okay? We're in this area. There's about 150 people, and Mark is like, how many people in this room right now do you think know what the capital of Iowa is? And I'm like, oh, dude, you're underselling people. People are smarter than you think. I'm looking around the room. I'm like, there's probably 15 people in this room that could say it's Des Moines, Iowa. And I specifically see this couple that's sitting a few paces from us. And I'm like, that couple right there, they know what the capital of Iowa is. I'd guarantee it. They look smart. Didn't I tell you this story?
No, you didn't tell me this story.
Dude.
I'm enthralled now.
We're sitting there, and the people get done with their breakfast, and they're kind of just sitting there talking, and Mark and I are talking, and I'm keeping an eye on them, and pretty soon their conversation comes to a lull, and they both got their phones out, so this is my chance. I strike. And I say, excuse me, folks, excuse me. My friends and I are having a conversation here about just the general intelligence of the general population, and we got a little bit of a bet going on here. Can you guys help me out? Do you know what the capital of Iowa is? And this dude looks me right in my eye and goes, Boise?
Not Idaho, sir. Iowa.
And all I said was, you've answered my question. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it.
You walked away, that guy goes, dick.
His wife just cracked up. She just cracked up because she knew that obviously the answer was wrong. They didn't know the answer. And then, but his other thing was like, how many people here do you think? Because I would struggle if you just put a map in front of me and said, put all the names of the states down. I feel like I'd get 47 of them right.
The Northeast is hard because they're so small. It's the Northeast. Yeah,
that's where it gets me. And so I think, well, everybody knows where Iowa is. Hell, it's right in the middle. When somebody says Boise to you, that's when you go, oh, they don't even know where Iowa is.
I know people make fun of me, and I used to be able to rattle off all 50 capitals. I could probably get 47, 48 now just because thinking. But I think it's important. People go, why? You're just memorizing cities. Well, there's more to that. At least I know the geography of the United States.
Yes.
Right? I mean, to me, knowing the capitals is knowing your greater country and knowing where stuff is at. I feel sorry for people in New York who go, I don't know where's that at exactly? What do you mean, where's it at? Did you not go to school? Did they not teach this stuff? Just basic understanding. Of course, Nebraska is right next to Iowa. We've had a lot of people talking about Nebraska in the YouTube feed today. Matt Rule, as we announced yesterday on the show as we were going off the air, got an extension yesterday. Not a surprise considering that his name was mentioned for the Penn State game. I think it's a win-win for both, Ross, meaning Matt Rule gets an extension, takes him to 2032. Nebraska does not give him a pay increase. And we talked about accountability a little bit yesterday. Now, he's going to get pay raises, but those were already built in.
They're built in, yeah.
They were already built in. But we were talking about accountability. And the accountability is, hey, you get $1 million raise on top of what you're already making if you make the college football playoff. We're not saying a Big Ten championship. We're saying if you make the college football playoff, you get $1 million raise. That's accountability. If you hit that mark, you're rewarded. If you don't hit that mark, you're not rewarded. And Nebraska raises his buyout to $15 million for this season only. So it will start going down. So you sit, and what's going to happen is if he makes the college football playoff, you're going to renegotiate a new deal that's going to take you out even longer. But Matt Rule gets that stability, knows what he has to hit to make even more money. Nebraska gets security of not having a massive coaching changeover. I think it's a win-win for both. And when you can say there's no pay increase attached to it, you go, okay. Now, the deal's still a 90% guaranteed, meaning if they fired him without cause, but you're giving a guy an extension, you're not going to fire him next year. You're not going to fire him in probably 2 years because you like the way the direction is going. But there's accountability there, and the university's protected in some way of your coach leaving.
I had lunch yesterday with our friend Mark Hanrahan, and Mark's such a fun guy to talk to about so many things. Youth sports. We got into the conversation about LSU and the governor going to,
Well, did you see what happened yesterday?
No, I didn't.
They fired the athletic director. So Scott Woodward, the athletic director, has been let go at LSU. So what was a shit show yesterday becomes even more of one today because they have now fired the athletic director who they're going to pay $6 million to go away. Now, $6 million is nowhere near the $54 million that Brian Kelly is going to get, But when you have a governor that openly criticizes has major influence over the board of supervisors because you no longer have a president, you have an interim president, you go, well, it's time to step away. Here's a guy that this shows you everything you need to know. Football rules the roost. He hired Kim Mulkey. He brought in Kim Mulkey. They won a national championship in women's basketball. He hired the baseball coach. They won a national championship in baseball. Why he was there under Ed Orgeron, they did fire him, but they won a national championship in football. But football, this is a total perspective of how football runs every athletic department there is out there. But they don't have an AD now.
So I have a question that Mark kind of brought up to me, and maybe some of the listeners can help me with this also. And we can be as legalese, or you can just tell me how you actually feel, or whatever. Why isn't being bad at your job enough to fire a person with cause?
Because cause would be you did something illegal or you broke a rule.
So why don't these contracts build in language that says
if you don't hit this mark,
if you're not winning these football games, we get to fire you and we don't have to pay you?
Would you rather see it as because Matt Rule's playing UFC tomorrow.
Yeah.
He is 0-18 all-time against top 25 teams at Baylor and Nebraska. He's never beaten a team ranked in the top 25.
And that guy just got an extension. That guy got to rework his contract on his benefit.
Now, people are going to call me a Nebraska homer. Dude from Iowa already is. but let me sell it because I'm pretty close to the situation.
Yeah.
And that is, okay, you have had zero stability whatsoever in the last 25 years. This is the most stable from a coaching standpoint, from an athletic director standpoint that you've had at the university in 25 years. Maybe you look at Iowa, maybe you look at Iowa State and go, you know what? Stability is much better than you want to win national championship. I think Nebraska's open goals are openly out there more than Iowa and Iowa State about wanting to be in the college football playoff. But I think they also go, you need stability to make it happen. Instead of the quick fix, you want the long play. And you look at Kirk Ferentz and go, okay, maybe that's the way to go. Look at Matt Campbell and Jamie Pollard. Maybe that's the way to go. You need stability before you can take that next leap. And I'm just throwing that out there. I like what you're saying, though. In accountability, because I don't think you would get a coach to agree to this. This would make it harder to attract a coach, meaning you have to win 65% of your games, right? Or you have to be so good against not only do you have to win 65% of the game, you got to win 45% against the AP top 25. Or you have to win 50% against the AP top 25. You have to win 30% against the AP top 10. Something like that would be a metric to where if you don't hit that, that's grounds for firing with cause because we expect that.
And I think each school could kind of come up with their own metric. Like Mark and I were talking about this, and again, in the 5 seconds of just kind of mentally spitballing this, it was like, well, man, you'd have to, like an LSU could legitimately put into their contract, if you lose 3 straight football games, we could fire you.
You could. But would a coach agree to that?
If for $11 million a year, yeah, they would.
Yeah,
because a coach would look at that and go, well, hell, if I lose those 3 games and I get fired, I still made the $11 million, and then I just go get another job. I've got 19 head coaches that will hire me as a consultant or a coordinator or
I could go be on TV or radio for $500,000 a year or whatever they're paying these coaches.
I mean, I know, and I'm I'm not saying that would be the thing I'd support or want, but like an LSU or an Alabama could legitimately write into a contract that says, if you don't perform at this level, that's cause. That's reason for us to fire you. And I honestly think that's what these contracts should probably start to read. Is that we can fire you and we don't have to pay you if you're just bad at your job. Now, if we fire you because we decided we want to hire another coach If we fire you when you're actually doing well and we just decide you're not doing well enough, then we'll pay you so that you go away.
Maybe keep this in the back of your mind, because next time we have Jamie Pollard on, I think we'll have Jamie on again.
I'd love that.
Or even Beth Getz, is to say, hey, we're just curious about this. If you threw that out there, does a job become less desirable, or does somebody go, that's the challenge?
And I do think in this current landscape, that's an easy answer. It's like, yeah, that job becomes way less desirable. I'm going to lose candidates, because especially with Iowa and Iowa State, which both these schools are going to have to go through this year in probably the next 5 to 10 years, right? Iowa certainly will in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Iowa State, I mean, Matt Campbell's still rumored for other jobs, and maybe in the next 10 years, Matt Campbell's, they're going through that same thing. It's going to be a competitive environment. And so if Jamie Pollard steps up and says, all right, here's the thing, he's going to lose out on his coaches. And I think that would be his argument. So what if this LSU thing, and I'm stealing this from Mark, there are very, very few programs, maybe 5 in the country, that have the type of power to shift this entire system. LSU is one of those 5.
I would agree with that.
And if LSU's governor steps up and says, we're going to change this system, we are going to offer a contract that says there's no buyout. If somebody wants to come and snipe our coach, they've got to pay us. But if we decide that this guy's not the right guy, like any other institution and job in the world, we can let that person go. There might be a severance package. It ain't going to be bajillions of dollars like this. We're done paying $50 million to make somebody not do a job. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So LSU, Alabama, Texas, you've got a handful of schools that are at that top of the bar that could say, all right, Iowa State and Iowa couldn't do it. If Iowa State and Iowa did it, they're in the mud and they just sink. If one of those schools says, we're changing the system up here, then everybody falls in line underneath them. Is it possible that that's what's going to happen here? That the governor says, okay, we're going to negotiate this thing for the state. We're done doing the Gary Barta thing. Gary Barta, the contracts that guy signed, man, I've often wondered who was negotiating for Iowa? Who possibly sat down and said, all right, what's best for the University of Iowa? I know what it is, a quiet extension for Fran McCaffrey. Nobody.
Yeah,
Gary
because
Barta
the
was
president probably had
Iowa.
to sign off on it, but you got to read the fine print, right?
So,
and
I would love. I don't know that would happen, but I'm hoping that maybe that's something that comes from this.
You have to look for the unintended consequences, right? Because there's unintended consequences with everything, and the unintended consequences. Well, you're never going to attract a good coach. I don't believe that because when you talk about the top 5 programs, you're talking about programs that have facilities in place, that have an infrastructure that it is set up to succeed. I'm going to use an example in the world that I live in. You know, a lot of people say, hey, if our jobs make so much money, should I get a bonus on top of our performance? And we don't do that. And they're like, why? We go first of all, you're evaluated at the end of the year. So, your bonus comes not per job, but we always say that the customer comes first. We would rather have a satisfied customer than make money on a job. I know people say, oh, you're just saying that. Trust me, I've lived it for 15 years. I've watched it. And if you think you make money on every construction project, you don't. I mean, there are some that lose money. But if you have a happy customer and you have a repeat customer, that's what matters most, because it's that repeat word of mouth business. But I've asked, why don't you incentivize a job? And they're like, because we don't want them to cut corners. We don't want them to do things just to make the dollar and cut the corners from a quality standpoint, from an expectation standpoint, and you have an unsatisfied owner.
Right.
And I go, oh, that's the unintended consequences. Well, I'm going to cut a corner here because I can make a little bit more money, and I'm personally going to benefit from this. May not be the best for the client, and you probably see it in the real estate world. There's probably things that happen. They're like, are you looking out for your client or are you looking out for you?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. In fact, Travis, the lawsuit that happened last year that was going to change the real estate world, and I was telling people, you saw me online arguing with people, saying this ain't going to be the change that it's not going to be the sea change that everybody's trying to claim it's going to be. And really smart realtors were like, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't have enough experience to say that. Here we are a year later, and the only thing that's changed is agents have gotten more greedy. There's a dozen stories, more than that. I could tell you dozens of deals where it's come down to, are you going to save your client money or are you going to make them pay more so that you get more dollars? And most of the time, it's screw my client. I got to get mine, baby.
I got to eat. You understand?
I got bills to pay. I got taxes coming.
I got food to put on my table.
This is my money. I know my worth. I thought you had a fiduciary responsibility to a client here. Dozens of stories I could tell you of exactly that happening. Hey, your client can buy this house for less if you take 2% commission. Now, I've presented that to my client, and they would prefer to pay more. They'd like for my commission to be amortized over 30 years. No, they did not. No, they didn't. I love that attitude. And I often wondered that about things. Like, when somebody does a good job, they're paid well, and then they do a good job for what they're supposed to do, and then they get more money. It's like, man, if you do your job, we're going to pay you this. But if you do your job well, wasn't that the expectation when you hired me? Wasn't the expectation when you hired me that I would do the job well?
Let's take the show, for example. Who comes first on the show? Our listeners have always come first. I really do believe that. Now, obviously, we set the tone of what we're going to talk about, but I just look at the community we have. And our advertisers are 1A. I mean, we can't do this show without advertisers. But this show isn't about you and I, and we do it because we like each other and we hang out. But we've always said, we've got a community here. Let's talk to the community every single day. Let's have fun.
I love having the chat up. I love the phone number that people. And again, anybody can call in at any time and share what they want to share with the opinions. Yeah, love it.
So Matt Rule's going to be in now. So Penn State could say, "Hey, we'll pay the $15 million." I don't think they're going to do that. Not too many teams want to pay somebody else $15 million to become their head coach. Nebraska going full Iowa State tomorrow. It's a blackout at Memorial Stadium, but they're going to a completely different level, Ross. And so they're wearing almost identical uniforms to what Iowa State did last week. Remember the black jerseys, black pants, and the white helmet?
Okay.
Nebraska's taken the red out of their end zone and have made it all black. So it's like they're going full blackout. It'd be interesting. But they play USC, and it'd be interesting to see if Matt Rule can finally get a win over a top 25 ranked team. And what's going to happen is if they lose, people are going to be like, "What do we give this guy an extension for? What are we doing? What are we doing?"
I was going to be a real smart ST. I was going to start looking around and go, "Hold on, I've lost my care."
And that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. You know, we do have some Nebraska fans that listen to this.
I know. I'm totally being a smartass. I do love that you said they're going full Iowa State with the blackout.
Am I wrong? I mean, if you look at the uniforms, you're like, God, I know Nebraska's an Adidas school and Iowa State's a Nike school, but these uniforms, besides the Cyclones on the side and an N, they are identical. You're like, do you guys just ship the black ones over and say switch the logo?
I do. Here, Johnny C's got it. I don't understand having team colors if you're not going to use your team colors. They don't even have black in their color scheme. It's go big red.
Red.
And then the other color is white. But hey,
Greg Warren's got a great Nebraska joke.
I was listening to Greg Warren last night. It's funny you'd say that.
Greg's a funny dude.
Yeah.
And I've known Greg for 20 years. I mean, back when he was doing the comedy club circuit. But he has a great Nebraska joke, and it's like, Nebraskans are weird because they can't remember their own cheers. They have to relearn it every week. You have one guy that says, "Go Big Red," and the rest of them go, "Go Big Red." And every week they have to relearn this thing that you have to say it slow and then say it fast. But it's a good joke. People were asking if we're going to have a cyclone rush tomorrow. We are going to have a special edition of the Black and Gold Rush. It's going to be an Iowa State edition. So right around 3:30 tomorrow, right when the Iowa State game ends, they play Arizona State tomorrow. We will be live right here at therushradio.com, on the Rush Radio Android app, on the Rush Radio TuneIn app, and of course YouTube, as we have an Iowa State Black and Gold Rush. But we'll call it a Cardinal and Gold Rush, but it's still the Black and Gold Rush from the Iowa Lottery Studios. A lot of good games tomorrow too, just beside also including the Iowa State Arizona State game, but yet Cincinnati and Utah tomorrow. That's a really, really good game in the Big 12. Penn State and Ohio State tomorrow. That doesn't have as much meaning as it did, but it's still one of those, it's Penn State, Ohio State. Of course, USC, Nebraska. Vanderbilt, Texas, I think is a good game as Vandy goes to Texas. You've got Oklahoma and Tennessee, Georgia, Florida tomorrow, and SMU has a good game tomorrow as well. So, but Iowa State, Arizona State, the Cyclones needing a win in the worst way. They've lost 3 in a row. It's just find a way to win, right, Ross? I mean, you can talk about the X's and O's here. You can talk about personnel on both sides. It doesn't matter. You just need a win. Not that it's going to mean anything. It means something because you need to get back in the win column. Iowa State's not going to win the Big 12. Iowa State's not going to the college football playoff. This season will end. I don't want to call it. It's going to be a disappointment because I think a lot of people thought this team was going to be in the mix for the college football playoff. You look at the years that Matt Campbell has dominated October. They haven't dominated October this year. They just need a win. No other way to look at it,
dude. Just win, baby. We have these conversations sometimes, Trav, where it's like, man, who needs this win? The fan base. There's a morale thing that's happening. I felt that way last week. I felt that way last week. Like, man, the fans got to have a win here to get some juice back into this. They're falling far from what this team could have been, should have been, what fans were hoping they'd be. This one, Travis, it is program wide. It's not the fans that need this win. It's not the coaches. It's not the players. It's everybody. You got to get this thing turned around. And I think they do.
515-517-2303. Coming up in hour number 2, you got the Iowa Lottery Weekly Woohoo, your chance to win a $90 prize pack from the Iowa Lottery. Tyler Kluver going to jump on with us at 7:30. We're going to talk Rose Bowl. There's a pissing match going on out west into the famed stadium that is the Rose Bowl. It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
The Rush Radio is now on the free TuneIn app, allowing you to enjoy the show on Apple products and Android Auto. Download the free TuneIn app and search The Rush Radio to take Travis and Ross wherever you go.
You've got enough on your plate, so when it's time to reset, grab a Fresca. Bold citrus, zero sugar, zero caffeine. Just clean, crisp refreshment that never goes out of style, whether it's post-work, post-gym, or just a break from the noise. Fresca's got your back. Pick up a Fresca at your local retailer today.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vents, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
Hi, I'm John Linares with Willis Lexus, and fall is upon us. If you've been thinking about getting a new ride, now is the time. We have interest rates as low as 3.49 on select models. We have a $469 per month lease on ES Hybrid, and we have early deals on 2026 models that are just arriving. You can see our great inventory at willislexus.com, but I invite you to stop in and visit with our sales consultants for more details. Your new Lexus is waiting for you.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Pump it up with unleaded 88.
The largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbocks to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels, there's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah. Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Hour number 2 of the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Happy Halloween, happy Friday. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com, the Rush Radio Android app, the TuneIn app, very much appreciated. If you are watching on YouTube today, hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and give this video a like. And, of course, start leaving your comments in the comment section and follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram. I'm Travis Justice. He's Ross Peterson. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we've got the Iowa Lottery Weekly Woohoo, your chance to win a $90 prize pack from the Iowa Lottery ticket, Iowa Lottery, which includes Mega Millions tickets, Scratch Match and Win tickets, Iowa Blackout tickets. So get ready and call in and win. We've had some good calls the last couple of weeks. We want to keep that going. Ross, this was on the thumbnail today if you follow us on YouTube. And there was a picture of the Rose Bowl. And people are probably, well, you know, Iowa's not going to the Rose Bowl. What are we talking about the Rose Bowl for? Well, we've seen shots of the Rose Bowl this year with UCLA playing there, right? And it's an empty stadium. We're talking about a 90,000-plus seat stadium. And you're lucky to have 25 to 30,000 people at a UCLA game. Well, behind the scenes, UCLA, which has a lease to play at the Rose Bowl through 2044. They've been playing there for 43 years. Their lease goes through 2044. Behind the scenes, they've been talking to SoFi Stadium. And SoFi Stadium, which hosts the Rams and the Chargers, is about 70,000 seats. It's 13 miles from the UCLA campus. Pasadena's 26 miles from the Pasadena campus. And now, because they've kind of been talking behind back channels, the Rose Bowl and the city of Pasadena has filed a lawsuit against UCLA, claiming irrefutable harm.
Breach of contract. You guys signed that said you're going to be here and be paying rent to us through 2044, and now all of a sudden you're sneaking around behind our back? I didn't know. Pasadena's 26 miles from
26 miles. And we're talking L.A. here, right? I mean, the last time I was at the Rose Bowl, the traffic sucked. Getting to the stadium is a pain in the ass. And the only – listen, you've been to the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
It's a shithole.
It's nothing. There's nothing magnetic about it. Nothing.
No.
The mountains are pretty. The stadium is
it's
as
old.
the kids would say, mid.
Now, the Rose Bowl said, hey, we've made a significant investment. We did a $150 million renovation. We did a $130 million renovation. Guess what? That's great. But the renovations were basically to keep a historic building, functionable. When you look at SoFi Stadium and UCLA, which is having money problems anyway, has to continue to pay Cal money because it abandoned them out of the Big 12, out of the Pac-10. You look at SoFi Stadium and you go, okay, this makes sense because from a digital standpoint, the money, the revenue that you could bring in, it is about the almighty dollar. It 100% is.
When you say from a digital standpoint, do you mean
like
just
all the screens, the ribbon boards, all that stuff,
and technology within the stadium that the Rose Bowl can't do?
Yeah, I mean, you look at Iowa, you look at Iowa State. When you own that stadium, you can do whatever you want to it. You own all the property in there.
Yeah.
The Rose Bowl is limited when it comes to that stuff, right? I mean, it's still the Rose Bowl, and you're like, okay, this is our home field, but it's not our exactly. What does it mean anymore? It doesn't mean anything anymore. That's hard. But there was a time, Ross, 2015, where we had Iowa fans that would openly say, I don't want to go to the college football playoff. I want to go to the Rose Bowl. You remember that?
I do. I remember it. I still bang my head against the wall trying to figure out what the hell, how you get people so brainwashed. And it still happens. Like, I guarantee you we still have people that are like, you damn it, you're talking about the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
The granddaddy of them all. What does that mean? What does that mean? For 40 years, it was the pinnacle. It's not anymore. It's not anymore. To me, it's like saying, man, if I could pick one woman on the planet, today, I'd pick Liz Taylor. What?
I'd pick Sydney Sweeney, but it is.
See? Why? Because things move.
Yes.
All of a sudden, new things look shiny, and you go, oh, yeah, okay, well, I can either do Old and Busted, which was really popular 50 years ago, or I can do new and fancy and try to be the top of the mountain. Which one should I really shoot for? And we still have, I guarantee you, we have people listening to this right now that are mad at what we're saying. They're like, damn it, I've been to the Rose Bowl, and it was the best time of my life. I loved going out there. It's a beautiful stadium. It's a stadium. It's a football field, and it's got seats, and it's got mountains, and it's got a really cool logo that we see on TV all the time outside of the stadium. That's it. That's it. I don't understand. I haven't for a long time understood the fascination of it, and I went there. Now, when I went there, I have a horrible memory of it. I have a memory of Christian McCaffrey just breaking off 90-yard runs and then the Stanford band playing the Farmers Only jingle. It sucked.
Come on, that was funny. You can look back and go, it was funny.
But in the moment, dude, in the moment, and I can't, like, I instantly go back to that emotion of, like, that sucked. That trip was just, the game ruined that trip.
You know, I fully understand what Pasadena's going through here, meaning that you lose UCLA, that stadium gets used one time a year. I'm sure you're going to play some soccer probably there. You might have, but for the most part, when you don't have a tenant, you're like, what do we have this stadium for?
And they're ergo the problem. Your stadium sucks. And people look around and they go, okay, I've got venues to choose from, and the Rose Bowl is one of those venues, and you go and you tour the stadium, and you go, yeah.
Remember when the Rose Bowl used to be a stop on the Super Bowl? When's the last time the Super Bowl was at the Rose Bowl? Oh, yeah. Rose Bowl used to host the Super Bowl a lot.
The Rose Bowl's way bigger than that now. I mean, they couldn't. I bet that they don't fit the technological parameters to host the Rose Bowl anymore.
Or maybe the suite parameters, right? Hey, what are we going to do for our corporate partners from a suite standpoint? And I'm not saying, and we saw, hey, went last year, Pasadena, Malibu, great. We're not saying that Pasadena is not great. It's friggin' beautiful. But I understand what UCLA is doing here. But when you have a contract, you just don't get a break said contract. I fully appreciate the Rose Bowl and Pasadena going, hold on for a second. You all signed a deal. Not my fault you signed another 20-year deal that takes you through 2044. That's your problem.
The pain of long contracts, Trav. We talk about it often. You also touched on something there briefly that is a big part of this. UCLA's hurting.
Yes, big time.
UCLA's they've made a bunch of mistakes along the way that have cost them. Now, here, and how does that work with them getting their $100 million $100 million a year from the Big Ten. That they don't get it right away. They're grandfathered in.
I thought they were an immediate. They might be grandfathered in a little bit, but it was a little faster ramp than I think Nebraska had. But they got. But part of that $100 million they got to give to Cal because Cal's because they're the flagship of the California system. You're like, who works like that? California does, right? I mean, it's like
the UCal system is another whole other conversation, man. We could spend an hour talking about that, and it'd get very political, and people get pissed off about it. But facts are facts. Mismanaged for decades, and now this is what chickens come home to roost, dude. You can delay stuff. It's gonna come around, and it's gonna come around bigger and badder than you ever feared it would be, and that's what UCLA's dealing with the Cal system.
What I want to pay attention to is the college football playoff, meaning, so 2029 will be the 15th year of the college football playoff championship. Only 4 cities have had multiple hosts because Tampa got it for 2029. New Orleans, Tampa, Atlanta, and Miami are your multiple host cities. Does the college football playoff ever go back to the Rose Bowl, or does it say, hey, we're going to go to SoFi. We're going to Jerry World in Dallas. And I think a key will be, because I'm sure they have to bid for it, much like Des Moines has to bid for the NCAA tournament. You have to do all that stuff. If I'm the college football playoff, I'm like, SoFi offers a lot more opportunity here, just from a fan amenity, a user experience. We aren't enamored anymore with just the stadium. Even the Big House has had to go through major renovations to be fan-friendly and user-friendly when you're there. And Michigan's not going to move from the Big House, but you have to keep up. Economically, it doesn't make sense for the Rose Bowl to spend a bunch of money when you have an average to below-average team, and it's only used for one friggin' bowl game a year. And the Rose Bowl's losing luster. You can't call it the granddaddy of them all anymore.
You shouldn't have for a long time.
Yeah.
All right. I got. You're way more astute about this stuff than I am. But Coach Hersom says the Rose Bowl maybe moves to SoFi. Orange, Fiesta, and Cotton have all moved.
But I think they're set up a little different because the Rose Bowl is actually kind of this entity where I believe the Rose Bowl committee would never let that happen unless you're absolutely forced into it. Now, here's the problem. The Rose Bowl itself is on the National Historic Registry, and you've worked in this, Ross, with real estate. You just don't get to tear those buildings down, right? I mean,
not tear it down, right? But it's when you've got one thing happening a year and you can't compete with the other stadiums and venues that are available, and the only thing that you've got going for you is the landscape around the stadium. Corey wrote in earlier. Corey's our buddy that he works for ESPN. He wrote in and he said, oh, by the way, the press boxes smell like a flooded basement in Iowa in the 90s. It's shithole.
Remember when everybody was all upset when the Ricketts family was renovating Wrigley and how could you do this to? Nobody's bitching now. You kind of look at you don't have to like the Ricketts family, but you kind of look around Wrigley Field and all the feedback I get, you're like, oh, okay, we can still deal with the beams in the middle, but what they did is pretty darn nice.
Yeah. Speaking of the Ricketts family, yesterday my conversation in the DMPS thing, I've talked about charter schools, and people are making the false assumption that those are tuition-based schools. They're tuition-free. The charter schools in Des Moines are tuition-free, and the reason they're tuition-free is because of the Ricketts family.
Really?
One of the Ricketts, not Tom, it's one of his brothers, has donated hundreds of millions of dollars into public education to really improve public education, not try to put a Band-Aid over things and pretend that things are better. No, to reinvent public education. So, real quick, that Ricketts family, I think pretty highly of them. They do some good stuff.
They do a lot of good stuff. Now, you may not agree with them politically. We're not asking you to. But
exactly right.
Exactly.
But they did well with Wrigley Field, and somebody like that could. I mean, I don't even know what the answer is for the Rose Bowl. I don't just want to crap on it, even though that's all I do anymore.
But I understand what UCLA's doing. They're like, hey, we've got to make some money here. And we're very limited on what we can do at the Rose Bowl from a signage standpoint, from I talked about digital billboards, all sorts of stuff. So I totally understand why that's taking place. Uh-oh, what's that?
Hold on.
What do I hear?
I know what you're hearing. I know what you're hearing.
It's time now for the Iowa Lottery Weekly Woo-Hoo.
Do you have any weekly woo-hoos?
Yeah, I do, and it's on a personal level from MCL Construction. We had 2 really good wins this week, and really 4 in the last week. And when you win jobs and you have teams that come together and make it happen, it makes the whole company. You know, I take great satisfaction from my team that puts the work in, but also the project teams that go together. So. It's personal. Nobody really cares about whether I win or lose. But we had in the last 2 weeks really 4 good wins and 2 wins yesterday. That you go, okay,
good for you.
Yeah, we've got a backlog into 2028 now, so that's really good.
Dude, something has happened in the real estate world because rates are dropping. I think what we're seeing. My woohoo would be the real estate market here recently. Not great for sellers right now because there's a lot of inventory. Homes have been on the market a long time, so prices are dropping. Interest rates have fallen, which means buyers are starting to come out of the woodwork again and get active and moving around. And we're seeing that merge is exactly what makes for a really good market because buyers are starting to get a little bit more power right now, and those prices are dropping. So my woohoo has been the phone ringing a lot lately.
And speaking of the phone ringing, 515-517-2303. Start calling right now. Up first on the Iowa Lottery Weekly Woo-Hoo, let's go to Sarah. Sarah, welcome to the Rush Radio Show. Who is or what is your Iowa Lottery Weekly Woo-Hoo?
Good morning, Travis and Ross.
You're not Sarah.
Not Sarah. No, this is John Fick, Sarah's husband.
Okay.
Oh. What's up, John?
Hey, what up, Ross? Just calling in. I've been listening a long time since day one. Travis, we ran into you a couple years ago watching your boy play down at the fair at JR's.
Oh, cool.
And you said that we should have another baby and not stop at one. So my weekly woohoo is we are having a baby boy coming next April.
Yeah, I did. I lecture people. I'm like, do not have one baby. You have to have 2. And I think people look at, are you judgmental son of a bitch? I'm like, I'm telling you. And John, congratulations.
Yes.
That is awesome, man. Congrats.
We were just having a conversation the other day about how
the hashtag.
Intelligent people are having babies. This is one of those couples, man. The world will be a better place with more Ficks in the world.
Thank you. The hashtag real Sarah gave me permission to let the cat out of the bag. So
all right.
That's awesome, dude. I'm super happy for you, Fick. That's amazing, man. Another member of the tribe, dude. Love it so much.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Thanks,
all
brother.
right, we'll go back to listening.
Congratulations, guys. Congratulations, Sarah. She's going to do all the hard work.
Yeah. I don't know. My wife just sent me, it was a reminder. She just sent me 15 photos from Halloweens over the years with all the kids. Oh, and I just said, I am the luckiest dad in the world. And that's hyperbole, obviously, but because every dad is lucky. But, I sit there and I remember those times and I'm like, I didn't enjoy it as much, but I can thank God for digital phones because now I can still enjoy it and go, I remember that day. 515-517-2303. Keep the calls coming. You can pick up a $90 prize pack from the Iowa Lottery. And this week's prize pack includes... because this is our prize packs are going to change next week, but the prize pack includes scratch, match, and win, and Iowa blackout scratch tickets plus some Mega Millions free play coupons. It's a prize pack valued at $90. So, and you can use those if they don't win to enter them into your VIP account and win even more. 515-517-2303 is the number to call if you have an Iowa Lottery Weekly Woo-Hoo. We'll just continue to talk. You know, we were talking about money. The WNBA and the Players Union has extended the current CBA for another 30 days, Ross. And there's still
this can be a woohoo. I thought I saw something yesterday that I thought, man, we're going to look at a WNBA player strike, aren't we?
Either that or an owner's lockout. But now this is where we start talking about money, right? And money can be confusing. I'm going to oversimplify this, and I may not even understand the full scope of it. The WNBA, and I think Adam Silver from the NBA has been involved with this a little bit too, has come out and said, hey, we're going to raise the minimum, we're going to raise the maximum. We're going to have a salary cap, but we're going to raise the minimum. You're going to make a lot more money on both ends, which is the right thing to do with the new amount of revenue coming in. But they're going to say, but the Players Union said, hey, the salary cap needs to be based on revenue. And the WNBA and the NBA has come back and said, hey, it should be based on hard numbers. Revenue is one thing. Profit is another. Meaning, let me give you an example. If you do $3 million in revenue and you make $1 million in profit, okay, it's not, the revenue is fine, but you still have hard cost. So if you do $2 million in revenue and $1 million in gross profit, well, sure, you did more revenue, but your expenses went up and you made the exact same amount of money. You shouldn't get paid more based on the revenue that's brought in. It's got to be a hard, fast. This is where it gets confusing for a lot of people. But they're saying, well, the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, they do it this way. You can't compare the WNBA to those leagues because they haven't been established as long. They don't bring in the revenue as much as those leagues do. I get where they're coming from, but what do you think? Should it be based on, hey, if your revenue goes to, or should it be based on hard numbers, and that is, are you making money or not? You're talking about a league that doesn't make money.
Dude, I don't know. I can see the merit on both sides of it. If you're an employee, you want to know what you're making. You want to have that. You go, I'm worth this amount of money. If your boss, if the company is losing money, I don't know. Here is my biggest concern for the WNBA, and it has nothing to do with money or strikes or lockouts or anything. Is Caitlin Clark going to play?
What do you mean? I mean, if she's healthy, she's going to play.
That's why I'm asking. I haven't seen clips of her practicing. I haven't seen. I mean, have I missed something? Is it just because it's out of my algorithm now?
I think it's out of your algorithm. Nobody cares about the WNBA at this point. I know she golfed in the Annika Sorenstam Pro-Am, so she's out there.
So she's at least being active? Cool.
Yeah, she's being active. But I just think, I mean, I assume she's going to play. But I know what you're saying. Without the face of the league, how much value is there?
So, and Patrick asked the question, I guess, on the chat that I think is probably the most important one, or the statement that's the most important here. Profit can be manipulated.
True.
If you say, well, we got to just work on profit, not revenue. Well, then what if the owner says, well, we'll just increase our costs?
Well, you are already by paying players minimums more and maximums more.
Yeah.
I have a question, too, and I'm just throwing this out there. Who should be paid back first? The investors that have been in this for 25 years and kept this thing going, or the players that are performing? Because this thing's been held upright by a lot of people, including the NBA, for a lot of years.
Yeah.
Big investment.
Yep.
Big investment.
Investors should get their money back before the people that are benefiting from them propping it up for a long time.
Yes.
See my comments about athletic departments in the states. Athletic departments were propped up, built by, and then propped up by taxpayers in each state. For public universities, we should be clear. For public universities, they were propped up, built and propped up by taxpayer dollars. And the minute they became profitable, they all grabbed the money and said, "No, this is ours." The taxpayers don't get any benefit from $1 million contracts.
Yeah, the taxpayers don't. Now, I do believe the universities do, and hear me out, because I can use Ole Miss as an example, and we could talk to Brian Harden at Drake. We could talk, you and I. When your athletic department succeeds, it benefits the university from a brand standpoint, from an enrollment standpoint. There are a lot more people that are attracted. You know, when Abigail went to Ole Miss, I think there were like 3 or 4 dorms that weren't even being used. Now they're renting like every apartment because they have an overrun of people that are going to Ole Miss, and that's solely because of Lane Kiffin and the football program. And so there is a benefit there, but it doesn't benefit the taxpayer, because you know what keeps going up? Tuition keeps going up.
Exactly my point. Yeah. Ticket prices continue to go up.
Yes.
Parking prices go up. Concession prices go up. And all that money goes away from the taxpayer, who was the initial investor, in my mind. Burger McChick. I love it. Fiduciary responsibility is investors first. Dude from Iowa. Smart investors don't suck good businesses dry. Smart investing pays off. Tank's got a woohoo for us. Tank's woohoo is that Beggar's Night is gone. I thought that would be your woohoo. You'd be like, finally.
I never experienced Beggar's Night. I've been a Halloween guy my entire life. So this Beggar's Night thing, I always got confused when I came on the air 15 years ago. I was like, what are you guys doing? But you know, you were always a big proponent of the jokes. You like the jokes.
This is the thing, yeah. I forget about this. Like even Courtney's daughter the other day, she's down at University of Kansas, and she called Courtney and she was like, "Man, Mom, I just went to my roommates and I was like, hey guys, what were your favorite Halloween jokes when you were kids?" They were like, "Huh? What are you talking about? No jokes here." That's one that I will hold to. It should happen. It makes it a lot more. It's not just walking around and with your hand out, give me your free candy. No, this is a transaction. You entertain me, I give you chocolate.
You don't entertain me, Dave Peterson gives you a potato.
Yeah, you throw a potato.
Do you like it when a 15, 16-year-old comes up to your door?
No. It's for kids. Unless the 15-year-old looks like he's 10, he shouldn't be out there on trick-or-treat night. I feel like, I almost feel like as soon as your kids can do it on their own, it's time to be like, you know, you could sit here and give out candy.
Yeah, because I don't want to open the door when it's cold outside. Still don't have my heat on. 58 degrees this morning.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, I'm trying.
So jealous.
515-517-2303 is the number to call. Congratulations to John, our weekly woohoo winner.
Yeah, he was our guy.
I'm telling you, you guys are missing out on great opportunities here.
Dude, get $90 and somebody is going to strike it big. I cannot wait for that phone call where somebody's like, you guys aren't going to believe this. You gave me $90 in scratch tickets. I won $10,000. I hope it's John. He's got some expenses coming up.
Yeah, he's got to pay the hospital bill. Got to do a whole bunch of stuff.
That is absolutely awesome. That's a big woohoo for.
Here's what I think would happen too. I think everybody heard John and went, "There's no way we're going to top having a baby."
I think that happens a lot. I think they're like, "Oh, I got something I was going to call in." See, we got to change it up a little bit. We're going to have to make it because people love to be pissed off. They love to be pissed off. So if we could figure out a way to also incorporate like the woohoo or boohoo type of thing.
Yeah, we can do that. It doesn't have to be positive all the time. It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive. Tyler Kluver joins us next.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
Hey, Blake Warlock here with Mini of Des Moines. Here to share some excellent deals that we have going on for the month of October. On the 25 Countryman, Mini is offering an APR down to 0.9 at 48 months. Lease special on the new 26 Countryman, $379 with just $4,400 down. 26 convertibles, great lease special as well at $469 with only $4,000 down. Stop in and visit your favorite Mini Motoring advisor or visit us online at miniofdesmoines.com.
You've got enough on your plate, so when it's time to reset, grab a Fresca. Bold citrus, zero sugar, zero caffeine. Just clean, crisp refreshment that never goes out of style, whether it's post-work, post-gym, or just a break from the noise. Fresca's got your back. Pick up a Fresca at your...
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you, taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the RushRadio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
Missing a quality, home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
Every business has priorities, and Priority One Heating and Cooling is no different. As a service provider, we prioritize quality air conditioners and furnaces that will keep your home at your comfort level year-round. As a small business, we prioritize doing things the right way and treating people fairly. As a truly local business, we prioritize our community. As a veteran-owned business, we prioritize duty and commitment. For big business service with local value, trust your home to the place where you are always Priority One.
Hi, I'm Bradley Ollinger here at Willis Nissan. Now until October, we are offering buy 3 tires, get the 4th for $1. Take advantage of this deal right now before winter. Go online today at willisnissan.com to schedule your tire placement today, and we'll see you on the service drive.
Rush, strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
That would be a really good bass drum and a guitar. I don't hear any saxophone in that one.
See, I'm so dumb about music, dude. I'm so dumb. Like, yeah, I know what a drum sounds like. And that was a guitar. Think Kluver, before we bring him on.
Okay.
Do you think Kluver ever played an instrument or can speak a second language?
Ooh.
See, I have this thought in my head that Kluver's mom was probably like, you have to be in the band as well. Man, I feel like that's in my brain that he's even told us.
Okay. Before we bring him on, you guess the instrument that he was forced to play in grade school.
Trumpet.
Damn it, you took mine. So I'm going to say,
we were all forced to play trumpets.
I'm going to say he started with the snare drum and then got rid of it.
No, he doesn't seem like the guy that would start drumming and then quit it.
Yeah, because football became his life. What is it, dude? What is it?
You guys are so off.
Okay. All right. Good.
Clarinet? Was it the clarinet?
No, he didn't play an instrument.
I didn't walk 100 feet near the band room in my life. I couldn't play the wrong guy. Wrong conversation for me. I'm the least
rhythm?
man.
You couldn't even play like a snare drum?
Dude, my brother, my middle brother, I think dabbled with like maybe the trumpet for a year or something. Yeah. We weren't the music and any theatrical or music talent in our family runs very, very low.
You'll love this. Chad says, too many nerds in the band for this stud.
Yeah, those guys are geeks.
I had a buddy who was a fantastic football player. Went on to play college football. He was a really good defensive back. He played at Dowling. My buddy Jamie Tepley. He had this. His dad was classic. And Jamie at one point had said to his dad, if I remember right, this conversation happened in like middle school. And he's like, Dad, I think I want to learn to play the trumpet. I want to be in the band when I get into high school. And his dad's line was, what are you going to come out of the locker room at halftime? Like the assumption was
the band's for pussies.
You're playing football. What are you going to wear your uniform out there at halftime and play in the band? And I've seen kids do that.
I've seen that, but that's usually at a really small school where, the band is like, we need every band member we can, just like we need every football player.
And that's so cool when you see that, man.
Yeah. But
kids
it's usually-
playing linebacker, and then at halftime he's like,
Well-
okay, here's the adjustments, and he rolls out and he's just ripping a tuba.
Hold on, it's the backup linebacker.
I've seen a couple stories where you're like, John Smith, 7 tackles in the first half, and look at halftime. Here he's leading the marching band. It's rare.
And the coach can't say anything because he's our best player, so we have to let him do it because he
The coach
really
can't
wants
say
to do
anything
it.
because he's also that kid's also the offensive coordinator. He's doing everything, and he made lunch for him and his teammates that day at school. Like he's So,
Hey,
no,
did
I'm
you
not
hear
a,
us?
not a band.
Did you hear us talking about you earlier in the week? I don't know if you listen to the show every day, but we brought you up. We were talking about recruiting. We were talking about what makes somebody really unique, and when you're going after somebody. And I said this. I said there's been plenty of 5-star athletes that never performed because when it comes to recruiting, people recruit on athletic ability. And I said, maybe Iowa doesn't have the 5-star guys, or Iowa State as well. But what never gets really gauged in the recruiting process is competitiveness, meaning that you went against head-to-head probably athletes that were better than you, but you just outworked them. And when you look at other guys, a Josie Jewell or somebody like that comes in, they just have a different gear that, they may not have been the best athletes, and then maybe Jewell's a bad reference, but you have guys that, he was only a 2 or 3-star. But what you didn't gauge was how hard this motherfucker works a lot and outworks somebody.
Josie's a great example if you're talking on the elite level. Because relative to a lot of the athletes that we ended up playing against, or the guys that he ended up playing against in the NFL, at the top, I think I did. I didn't hear this conversation. I did hear you earlier in the week. At some point, you gave a great quote. There's levels to this shit. I don't remember.
Yeah, we've said that a couple times about things.
Josie Jewell, relative to the average kid in Iowa football that's going to play tonight in the playoffs, he's the best one out there, right? He's the guy who got all the genetics, and that's how people talk about him. You walk into the Iowa football facility, and Josie's looking around like, I'd sure like to see some of those genetics that I got, because it's a different story there. But he's a perfect example amongst that population at the Division I level of be hard pressed to find a guy that works harder than Josie.
And that's what I meant. I mean, great athletes at their high school are probably going to dominate anyway. They don't have to work hard because they're naturally gifted. It's when you go to that next level. People are like, well, how did you go? How does Iowa take these two? I'm like, no, they were probably 3 or 4 stars, 4 or 5 stars all along. You just didn't know how well they competed and wanted it more. And this happens at every program, by the way. And the thing was, there are busts. And you probably went to school or in a locker room with somebody who had unbelievable athletic talent, but just a lazy ass and didn't want to put in the work.
You want to hear the list of names?
Yes, I do.
The first one that comes to mind is Derek Willis.
The receiver.
Yeah, you might remember him. He saved us against Ball State in 2014. Otherwise, we probably lose to Ball State to open up the year in Kinnick.
Wow.
And I don't know, he was probably like a 3-star in reality, but his talent, he ended up going to Texas Tech and then played for the Browns for a year or two. And unbelievable talent. Just one of those receivers that everybody in Hawkeye Nation is wondering, how do we never get one of these guys? How do we never get one of these 6'3", 6'4", can run past everybody, he's stronger? We do every once in a while. The problem is that at Iowa, they don't deal with the extracurriculars. There's no room for it. Zero tolerance. So, and for some reason, those DBs and the receivers, they come with baggage sometimes. They got this prima donna to them. And so you get a lot of those guys. I played with a lot of those guys. My class was 37 deep, walk-ons and scholarship players. I remember the first meeting at the hotel before our first camp in 2013. 37 of us sitting in there, most of us with our parents, scared as shit. Whoa, my God, what are we getting ourselves into? And I ran out on senior day with 14 guys, 13 other guys other than me. And 2 of those were from the class below us because they played their true freshman year, Miles Taylor and Ben Neiman. So it was really me and 11 other guys from that class of 37. And that attrition which is like, in that case, nearly 70%.
Yeah.
It happens for a lot of reasons. Oftentimes, that reason is a product of that star system, that recruiting game, the recruiting rankings having flaws. It's a very imperfect system. And a lot of people on the outside just take that for what it is. They're like, oh, he's a 3-star. He's a 4-star. He's a 5-star. They've boxed them into like, this is
They
how
do.
good they
Yeah. And
you know what that's like? That's being like number 1 or number 2 in the preseason poll. It's like, well, and we could use Iowa and Texas right now. I think people are doing like, if you compare the two resumes of Iowa and Texas, why is Texas ranked? Why is Iowa not ranked? Because Texas started the season number 1 in the country, so therefore they're perceived.
Yeah, the perception is huge. And the guys who are doing these recruiting rankings are like, they're just, most of those recruiting services, they're just watching the huddle of these kids just like you do.
And another thing that happens with it, Tyler, as you well know, if Alabama offers a guy a scholarship, it doesn't matter what his huddle thing looks like.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what his high school stats are, nothing to it. And that same thing happens all the way down. A good friend of mine that I'm a realtor with, his daughter is an amazing softball player. Her talent did not change when she signed with a really good team. But all of a sudden, her national exposure went through the roof.
It even happened with me as a long snapper before like specialists really started to come onto the scene as like scholarship players out of high school. I went to this camp, this Cole's kicking. Jamie Cole out of Ankeny kicked at Iowa State. He was the kicker when my uncle was the long snapper there in like 96, 97, late 90s. And he started his own kicking service and started ranking specialists. And I went to that camp to get exposure in high school and to like build my name. And I had a natural ability and maybe some blood in there from my uncle. Like it was a perfect storm and I worked hard. But I went and won the national camp going into our senior year. Like, you know, it was the camp. The best long snapper of anywhere ever was there. And I won the thing and got ranked. I mean, I should have been ranked first. I won the camp. They kept me at second. Still salty. But like won my way into the Under Armour All-American game, all this stuff. Weird. A couple letters from Auburn and Alabama showed up the next week. Like, oh, this kid's name is on the circuit now. Yeah. How about you come down for a game? And I was like, 17-year-old Tyler was like, I'm getting recruited by Bama, you know? They know who I am. But all they saw was a name and a star rating, and this kid won the best camp in America. Yeah, it's a copycat league. You get an offer from somebody, and all of a sudden, anybody listening, just go watch. Anytime somebody gets a Big Ten offer, 3 more Big Ten offers pop up.
Yeah.
And it's just an identification of talent. It's like, oh, somebody else wants them. That's a demonstration of value. We'll offer them too. It's just it's a weird game.
That was kind of the case with Breece Hall, too, was it? Remember, Matt Campbell was in on Breece Hall really early.
Oh, really?
And then all of a sudden, he went from like a 2 to a 4-star once some stuff happened. I mean, it is. I always said recruiting services are there to make money. They're clickbait because fans are rabid and they're like, okay, if we put these stars out, we're going to get every college football fan base to come check out our stuff, and we're going to make money because they have to subscribe to our service and all that stuff.
Iowa benefits from it. Because we're just little old Iowa out here in the Midwest. Nobody gets to. Who's watching West Branch play on a Friday night?
Yeah.
Nobody.
When Josie Jewell gets an offer, Alabama doesn't come rushing for him.
Who's this kid? He's just some random Iowa kid. And then 6 years later, he's starting for the Hawkeyes. And every time it's like, how do we find these kids? Well, it's because you got guys like Reese Morgan driving all over the state. Guy never sleeps, and he just goes and finds athletes, and he knows what an athlete looks like because he sees it at the Iowa facility every day.
There you just answered my question, I guess, Tyler, because one of the things we were wondering about earlier in the week as we were talking about you was like, what is it about those eyes? What is it that Kirk Ferentz is able to see in these guys that other coaches are looking past? Or what is it you're actually looking for? Is it?
There's measurables. Like, they could have come and watched me play linebacker, and they're like, he's okay. He's a little slow, but he's 5'10", and he's pre-diabetic, which I was senior year.
So,
but they know that, they see what a guy in year 2 or 3 looks like, and then they can project. They go to Cam Buffington's high school or Preston Rees, and they're like, okay, kid's 6'2", runs really well. Look at the frame on him. And Travis, you mentioned that they can't, the competitiveness that sort of drive that off stuff doesn't get measured. It does.
I'm saying that from the recruiting services.
Yes.
And so that's why a good friend of mine is Bill Bush, who used to be a coach at Nebraska, and he was actually at LSU and stuff. I asked him, what's the number one thing you look for in a recruit? And he goes, competitiveness. He goes, if they're not competitive, I don't want them, because they're just going to be nothing to me when they come. They can have all the athletic ability, but you're with a lot of great athletes. If you're not uber competitive, and so he told me how they bring them on like recruiting trips, and there's certain little, they think they're playing a game, and it could be playing solitaire, it could be playing Legos. They have them play those games to see who wants to dominate just in that game.
The best place to find an athlete, this is where Coach Morgan came to watch me, and it's not like who gives a crap if the long snapper's competitive, is they go and watch him in their PE class. Because it's the classic, oh yeah, it's the big time athlete, but he walks the mile in PE, right? And I know, like, that person
good.
That person that tries in PE class and they're the athlete, it's like, you don't have to try to be good against Jane, your classmate, in this kickball game. Doesn't matter. It
Playing dodgeball. He threw it really hard at Jane. Yeah, because he's out there to win.
I can reference two things, and I'm placing myself only because it's the anecdotal like info that I have about myself. But I know I'm a very competitive person. I ended up playing at the Division I level. Go ask Marshalltown class of 2013. A bunch of them think I'm the D-bag hardo, and it's true. I'm also the only one that played at the Division I level, so we got to weigh things here. Gym floor, right? We're playing kickball, or like this truncated game of kickball. It was like this kind of made up game that we played. I was laying out to catch balls on the hardwood floor, elbows crashing down, like literally risking injury for like the game that we had 2 days later for Marshalltown football. I'm hitting the floor. People are looking at me like, dude, what the hell are you doing? I'm making diving plays into the bleachers. Mile run comes around. Also, another note, my dad was the gym teacher. So that was
so you had to.
And he's like, when are you gonna get in this mile time here? Everybody else, my now wife is like walking the mile, and she's my girlfriend at the time, and he's like trying to make her go hard. It's one of the best stories that we have. I threw up. I'm sprinting 4 laps around the track in the spring to like get the best mile time in the class. Everyone, he's like, the other class who's not running the miles are walking their laps as their choice for the day. I'm throwing up in the grass. They look for those guys. They're like, oh, this guy's a linebacker. He's got a game tonight, and he's sprinting in wiffle ball at 10:15 a.m. in the gym class. They have little ways. They'll go to the math teacher and ask them, hey, if they have like some competition that they do in class, how does he do? They talk to their teachers. They find ways to ask about these guys to pull that competitive spirit level out of the ether and try and gauge that. And so that's pretty much what you find across the board at Iowa.
Tyler, somebody was asking about that multi-sport athlete. Is that something that that's an indicator also
Huge.
Of competitive? Okay, all right.
And it's not just an indicator of like competitiveness, because it is, right? Like if you're an ultra competitor and you're one of those guys in high school, like I can go dominate 2-3 sports. Hell yeah. Give it to me, right? Like I wish that I would have stuck with track. I had a knee issue that track really bothered it. And I quit after my freshman year. I was never going to be anything good, but just go out and compete every day, train, do stuff. And I was doing stuff, on my own. I only played basketball and football, but yeah, Cooper DeJean, like Brandon Sheriff played tennis. I think his like all the way through.
Really? At Denison?
Yeah. And was a stud. And 6'5" Brandon Sheriff is out there, and he shows up at a 1A tennis meet, and everyone's like, are you kidding me? We got to go up against this guy. And that's when people say, yeah, they're built different. That's the execution of that. Like, that's what
Travis,
you find.
This reminds me of our conversation with Joe Woodley. Remember we were asking Joe about, hey, were you a basketball player? And he's like, Tyler, you saw this regret sink into his face, and he was like, it's actually my best sport.
Yeah.
He's like, but didn't have the frame for it, but you could see this thing in his eyes, like, man, I miss that. I miss that competitiveness of it. And
I still think I could be Cal Raleigh. I still look back and go, man, baseball was probably my thing if I enjoyed it. Now I had an early indicator that I think we talked about it where I was like, I can't do this. It's not for me. But yeah, I mean, what else are you going to do as an athlete? I mean, you play sports.
But, I mean, I was an okay athlete. I was all state in baseball. I would say I did not have the competitive drive from an athletic standpoint, right? I didn't. I mean, I was good. I went to a small school, won a state title, whatever. But I didn't. I remember I was supposed to go to Grandview, and I watched these guys. I got there. I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't have that competitive. My competitiveness comes in this. I like the because I like
fine.
this. Yeah, there's a competitive drive, but when it comes to athleticism and being in that competition, it's like, man, I don't want to put in the work. And maybe it's because, and sometimes you weren't like this. I was playing baseball from the time I was in kindergarten, right? You go 15 straight years, you're like, I'm done.
Yeah,
you've
had a whole career.
Yeah, it's like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore.
I know. That's why I have a lot of, my kids, my little girl's going to be 3 here in a month, and Brooks was born in June, and I have, I'm in the little one stage for the next 5+ years, and you start to think like, when are we going to put them in sports? Like, when are we legitimately, right? Like they all play, little league t-ball and soccer.
Yeah.
But like when it gets serious, when do we want to get serious about it?
But see, that's a mistake right there, because you're saying, when do we? You're assuming they want to.
Oh, they're going to want
to. You are correct. And I'm 100% like, if they don't want to play, when do we as the parents make that decision if they show if they show the interest,
and
right?
the acumen, yeah.
Because the worry of, like, especially as someone like as a former D1 athlete, which I'm really using that very loosely. I was a glorified water boy.
Dude, you say that, but you were a D1 athlete. You were a Hawkeye.
Yeah.
That means something to a lot of us.
You're right. There's my cousin is actually on the dance team now at Iowa. She's the more relevant like stud athlete for Iowa at this point. But like, you're worried. You're like, oh my God, or is it going to be too late? And then I think about all these teammates that I've told you guys about. We're like, yeah, they started playing football sophomore year.
Yeah.
And it's like the guys and the girls who are going to end up, and sure, there's a couple scenarios where you're like, yeah, it's probably good to get them, start learning fundamentals, all this stuff. But like the ones who are going to end up at the top level, they're going to find their way there.
Right. I would say football's the only sport. I mean, Bo Pelini told me one time, he goes, I go, when's a good time to start playing? He goes, you don't need to start playing tackle football until you're about a freshman. He goes,
I was going to say, like 8th grade, middle school.
Yeah, he goes, freshman, he goes, we can teach anybody to play football. Now, baseball is a little bit more skilled, but basketball, obviously, a lot more. He goes, football, a lot of people can pick that up pretty naturally if you're a natural athlete.
There's so many positions. It's like, if you don't have ball skills, we'll just throw you on the defense. Just go be an athlete, right?
Go hit somebody.
Anthony Nelson. See his picks?
Yeah, good name.
His pick against Rattler the other day? Put his hand in the air, shouldered him, walked into the end zone. Product of Hawkeyes right here in the key. He's one of those guys where you're like, you could have probably just taken him. He could have just played whatever, never really cared. And then in college, you could have been like, hey, can you come on and play for the team?
Yeah.
And he would have still ended up for the Buccaneers playing on Sunday nights. Like it's just one of those. It's just one of those things. So yeah, there's a lot of that. There's that competitive. These kids who are like, they really want to make it to the next level, and then it depends on how self-aware they are or not. But at some point, you realize, I am him or I'm not.
I'm having a couple other names go through my head. Like, I'm losing it now. There was the tight end for the Chargers, Gates.
Antonio Gates. I
don't think he played.
Oh,
I think he
played basketball.
Yeah, right.
He played basketball for his college team. I'm pretty sure.
How about I'm going to show my age here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Willie Galt. Willie Galt was a
sprinter. Willie Galt.
Willie Galt was a sprinter, I believe, an Olympian.
Willie Galt was a badass for the Raiders.
Yeah. I mean,
gotta be careful with those Olympic sprinters.
And the Bears. He was on that.
Yeah, the Bears. I think
team.
it started with the Bears.
I'm Speedy Willie, and I'm world class. He was on the Super Bowl shuffle.
He was part of the shuffle?
Yeah.
Hey.
Willie Galt. Good name. So you just changed my mind about one that I've always kind of fought with. I've always had people say, LeBron James could have been a great NFL tight end. And I'm always like, no, you can't just change sports. You can't find yourself. And now I'm realizing, oh yeah, he's like 6'8". He's super athletic.
If he would have, if he would have chosen to, he probably would he have had the same acumen. I mean, what he's done with basketball is, literally one, and it's him and Jordan and maybe Kobe who have made that impact. But maybe Wembanyama's on his way. That unbelievable what that guy is.
Spurs off to the first 5-0 start.
That guy isn't human, by the way.
That's right. He's a video game character.
Yeah, and then
guys, Kevin Durant. Like if you were going to make a video game character, you'd make him 7 foot tall with great handles,
and he can shoot the three.
Be able to shoot the ball from anywhere. And now you look around, and you're like, no, I might as well make him 7'6".
And he can still shoot the three.
And still shoot the ball better than anybody.
But LeBron probably wouldn't have had that impact in the NFL. Probably could have made his way though. Could have made a second contract. Some guys are just built that way. Us three were not. And I know I was part of the I found a very, very small niche in the Division I. I promise you my genetics are closer to the average Joe than many of my friends.
So if you didn't walk on at Iowa, would you have been like playing at Grandview? I mean, was that the next?
Great question. So, it was always Iowa for me. I just needed them to be like, "Hey, we'd love to have you as a walk on," and I literally committed inside. I waited a week for the next. I was like, that's great.
You played hard to get.
Yeah, right. But the minute Coach Morgan or Coach, I think it was the running backs coach at the time, told me, I was like, we're in. But I had offers from, it would be such a different path. I had offers from Eastern Michigan and Wyoming. I likely would have gone to Wyoming and been a Cowboy and started for 4 years because that's why they were going to offer me out of high school. They needed a guy immediately. And yeah, would have been a Cowboy. Either that or I would have went and tried to play linebacker at like St. Cloud State or some D2 college.
Glad you chose the path you did, Tyler.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, man. I also don't know any other languages from the very beginning of the show.
Okay.
Spanish in high school, Swahili in college. And I forgot every word of Swahili that I learned in 4 semesters.
That's a conversation for next week.
What?
Swahili.
I'll tell you all about it.
All right. Thank you, Tyler.
Dust up on your Swahili for us for next week.
Habari gani, Gina Longu, Tyler. That's
Peace out, dude.
Love it. See you, buddy.
Tyler Kluver joining us on the Rush Radio Show. Thank you for listening today. We'll be back tomorrow with a Black and Gold Rush Iowa State edition right after the Cyclones game with Arizona State. For Ross Peterson, I'm Travis Justice. Have a great Friday and happy Halloween.
Body Armor. Real hydration with electrolytes. No artificial dyes and coconut water. Choose better. Body Armor.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
My name's Gary Presnell, and I'm a residential home mortgage banker for Northwest Bank in Des Moines Metro Market. I've been financing people's homes for over 25 years, and I'm an expert in financing VA loans, FHA loans, IFA loans, and new construction homes. This is my cat Norm. Norm knows football, but he doesn't know mortgage. And that's where I come in. There are a lot of Tom, Dick, and Norms out there doing loans. So don't just trust anyone with your home loan. I'm your local, trusted, experienced expert.
Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
What's going on, everybody? It's Bobby here at Willis Volvo Cars.
Fall is in full effect. There's $3,000 worth of savings on XC90 and XC60. We have sign and drive, no payment, nothing due up front. Best lease programs we have had in years. So give us a call, click or visit us at willisvolvocars.com. Stop down to the showroom, let us lower your payment on a brand new car. You'll be glad you did.
Bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking.
Looking for the perfect golf escape? Experience links-style golf right here in Ames at Coldwater Golf Links. With rolling fairways, large greens, and unique routing, it's golf the way it's meant to be played. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, you'll love our course's welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. Grab your clubs, book a tee time, and make every round unforgettable. Coldwater Golf Links, where great golf leads to great memories. Visit coldwatergolf.com to book your round today.
Back to the Rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.